about?
This one's interesting. Basically, each player will individually put 15 cards in a Hearthstone deck without talking about strategy or anything to their teammate, so teams of two. Then they will be isolated. The second player will come in and also put 15 cards into a Hearthstone deck. After that, we'll combine both the decks into one Hearthstone deck, and any duplicates that they chose to put in the deck, so any cards that they both had the idea to put in, will be replaced with cards from a predetermined list of pretty interesting cards that include pretty much every card that's ever been nerfed.
That's right. So it's definitely like a fun mix of stuff where you try to predict what your teammate's going to build. So if me and TJ, which obviously we'll pick, Shaman for example as the first one, if I choose to put Totem Golems in and he chooses to put Totem Golems in, we have two overlapping cards. That gets replaced by a lot weaker cards.
So then you have no Totem Golems.
Yes.
Instead of Totem Golems, you have something completely different than Totem Golem. And for Shaman, that includes such cards as Tuskar Totemic,
which is
Fighter Weapon,
nerfed significantly.
Mana Wraith, Evolve, Wind Speaker, Wind Fury, Farsight. So it's basically any card, pretty useless cards, but also cards that have been nerfed.
Yeah, it's essentially just making your deck a lot weaker. So you have
Yeah.
to predict what your teammate's going to also build. And they're doing it in two phases. Right now, Savjz and Firebat are building, getting ready to build. And we already have the classes drafted as well. Eloise and Firebat are on a team. They picked Hunter, Warlock, and Shaman. And Dog and Savjz picked Druid, Warrior, and Paladin. They had the Snake drafted, so they had exclusive rights to classes.
Yeah.
And the interesting pick, of course, is Paladin. So I'm curious to see what these guys have in store. Here's the 50-15 screen. As you can see, Eloise, Firebat, they're going to have the Warlock. Not really surprised to see what they're choosing here.
Yeah, and Firebat seems to be going with the strategy of putting one of each of the good cards, the good zoo cards, in his deck, which increases or decreases the likelihood that there will be duplicates. Because even if a teammate puts two of, say, Voidwalker in the deck, only one of those, actually both of them would be duplicates.
Yeah, I think this is like a pretty interesting strategy that Firebat's taking here because, part of the reason why this format is really fun but also dangerous is the fact that, if you mess up, if both of you mess up, you both get punished there. It's not like one copy of the card stays. So Firebat's trying to hedge his bets by splitting the cards right now and going for the zoo, and I like that.
But he's hoping that Eloise will also catch on.
That's
and
tough.
Also only put one of each card in.
I don't think she will. I think Eloise is going to try to guess like what are the cards that my opponent put or my teammate put in, and then try to see if I can go for it. Now Savjz is probably going for the things that he feels like are most core to the deck. I really feel like some of the cards that he's picking are stuff that he feels like are really important to the strategy of it, and then he's hoping that his teammate can pick up on like, well, I trust that he's going to put these cards in the deck, and I'm going to have to put in some lesser support cards, like, Solemn Vigil, for example, or if I play Ragnaros, Firelord.
So, two very different strategies where Firebat is going with the strategy of putting only one in, hoping that Eloise also has the same idea, whereas Savjz is just putting in the good cards, hoping that Dog assumes that Savjz is going to put in the good cards, and thus doesn't put in what he thinks are the good cards. So, and also, one thing that we didn't mention, one of the buffs that these guys can use, they can spend, once the decks are fully built, so both players have put their 15 cards in, and we know how many duplicates their decks have, the players can spend 1,000 gems, so 500 gems for each player on their team, to replace the duplicate cards in their deck with any card from the list of cards that we've predetermined. So they can sort of minimize the impact. It's not a random card that we're putting in there. It's a card that they choose, albeit from a list of maybe not so great cards, but at least they get to tailor their deck. And that's 1,000 gems per card that they choose. So that adds up very, very quickly, considering a lot of these players have between 3,000 and 5,000 gems left.
All right, so again, to recap the rules for people kind of tuning in the middle, we are playing a 2v2 best of 5 Conquest with standard. But essentially what you have to do is build half the deck, and your teammate has to build the other half. You both put 15 cards in. Any cards that overlap, you get penalized. You take both of them out and then replace them with a bad card instead. And they're not that bad in the beginning, but they get progressively a lot worse. So if you just so happen to be unfortunate enough to copy every single card in your deck, you're putting some really terrible cards in. So I feel like this is really fun, but it does feel a little random, TJ. It's like some of these things that you're trying to interpret how you're trying to build the deck is really tough. I think another problem that you have to think about is, what if my teammate chooses just the wrong archetype?
Yeah.
You know, what if I'm trying to play a Control Warrior and he thinks I'm going to play a Cthulhu Warrior, and I put all these Cthulhu minions in, and then he just puts like control tools and just makes the deck super inefficient.
It's really tough. You have to sort of predict what your teammate's going to do, and you might be able to predict that your teammate's going to put, say, Savjz knows Dog, who is his teammate. He knows like what kind of playstyle he has. So Savjz just put all the ramp cards in.
Yep.
But maybe Dog will have the same idea and say, I like the ramp, so I'm just going to put in the ramp cards also. And then all of a sudden they're left with like 10 duplicate cards.
I feel like this is going to be pretty disastrous for both teams. But I do feel like Firebat took a really good route here by only putting one copy, so he gets penalized less. I think what Firebat's strategy is, I think I'm going to try to minimize the amount of damage we can do to each other and just try to play overall good cards.
Yeah.
And you know what? I mean, it'd be really humorous if Eloise picked up on that and was smart enough to, like, if they all did one-ofs and ended up just being like a Reno-style deck.
Yeah.
Not necessarily going to be the case, though, because we do replace duplicates, and they're inevitably going to have some. I think this is, like, so Firebat-esque to do, because he just tries to think about some of the ways he can really gain these edges. So you can definitely see
strategy.
You can definitely see the competitive player coming out of Firebat right now.
Yeah, and Firebat looks like he's just done.
Yeah, I mean, his strategy was pretty easy, actually. I think the harder strategy is Savjz, where you try to think about what two cards, or what kind of cards can I put, you know, to really cover the bases. You know, if I'm putting two equalities in, do I put the consecrations in? Because like, actually, I probably pair these things together. So that's probably the really hard part that they're struggling with.
Yeah.
Sorry, TJ, I'm being blinded right now.
Yeah.
As I move my head slightly to the right. But, yeah, so right now we're going to try to get in Eloise and Dog. As the next part of the program.
Yep, the Savjz and Firebat just walked by us. They're going to go in isolation. And
yes, so they
bring over the other two players. Yeah, so they can't hear. Keep in mind, these guys didn't have any opportunity after they were told what the event was to strategize, talk about what cards they were going to put in, things like that. They drafted their classes, and that was 100% it. So, yeah, I'm excited to see how many duplicates, and if the other players will catch on to the strategy or have a new strategy of their own that might backfire because of, you know, how much their teammate had put in.
Yeah, and, you know, again, one of those interesting things is, like, thinking about how to build the archetypes, because they could be doing conflicting things. In terms of the lineups, though, I definitely feel like Eloise and Firebat got the better end of the deal, in terms of the lineups, because they have Shaman, Hunter, Warlock. We did give first pick to their team because they have Eloise, who's in last place. So they had Shaman drafted first, then Dog and Savjz picked Druid Warrior, then Firebat and Eloise picked Hunter and Warlock, and then Dog and Savjz closed it out with Paladin. They were thinking about Mage, but I think Mage originally is a really scary pick because of just how many cards that can overlap. Especially if you try to play like a Tempo Mage style stuff. It feels like really difficult to navigate like which half to build versus the other one.
Yeah, whereas, you know, Dog and Savjz have decks that have a lot of cards that have potential overlap. They have a lot of decks that have potential overlap, like Druid and like Warrior. So, and they're in earshot right now. We can see Dog and Eloise waiting.
Yeah.
So we can't reveal any of the strategies just yet. I can see Dog's lurking. He's trying to get an edge here.
Surely. And I think right now we're taking screenshots just to verify that each of the deck lists are good. And yeah, that's going to be it. Now, keep in mind, guys, if you want to help donate towards the gems, it doesn't require any money. It just requires your participation. If you go to htcmayhem.com and you connect your social media, and say you're following the players on Twitter, you can just go ahead and get those gems and give it to your favorite player. You just have to link it up to the API. HTC created one where you just link your Twitter and you just log in with Twitch, link in your Twitter, and then it detects if you're following. You can donate gems to who you want. And the gems for this round can be used to replace duplicate cards in case you mess it up. So you know, definitely covering your bases is really good in case you do that.
All right, well, Eloise and Dog are in position, so they are at the computers going to build these decks. We have to be a little bit quiet just so they don't hear us too much.
Right. We're not that far away from the players, but we're ensuring that they can't hear us. Now, we did pick up on what Firebat was trying to do previously. Let's see if Eloise can sniff it out, but I'm guessing no, because I feel like that's such a Firebat thing to do.
Oh, no. Oh, no, this is really good. She is picking up on it.
Oh, what?
Just putting in one card of each.
Huh.
I mean, that is...
Oh, wow. Actually, both both Eloise and Dog are doing it.
Yeah, but the thing is Savjz put 2 ofs.
Right. So, Savjz is being the weak link right now.
Yeah. I mean...
Assuming that's what happens, I mean... We don't know. It could hypothetically have no overlapping cards, but just based off the eyeballing, there definitely is going to be some.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I like, for example, like, we all know that, you know, some of these shaman cards already are going to overlap. It's just, it's almost like inevitable. You can't avoid it. You
but the
just have
thing
to
is,
build the
if
best
they
decks.
each have one of, it's impossible for them to have any overlap. Because
What if they all have overlap because you just pick the same cards?
No, because if you pick the same cards, you just have 2 ofs. It's the only cards that are considered overlap are cards that you have more than 2 copies of.
I got you.
I
So you're saying rather than having 4 copies of a card overlap, you have 2 at most?
I think that's what it was. I hope that's what it is. Well, I don't know, because if that's the case, then if you only put one of each individual card in, you can never have overlap.
Right, that's
You're
true.
guaranteed to have those cards in. So actually, oh, Eloise just actually accidentally auto-filled the rest of the wah wah.
Yeah. So, well, this is gonna essentially just be like really awkward moment. Oh, I was like, why is there a Socket the Slither in there? Putting cards like Harrison Jones, I guess, is the risky point, but I don't really mind that risk.
Well, to be honest, this meta is solved.
Sort of.
If you put only one card of only one of each copy, then you're guaranteed to have 0 overlaps.
Yeah, but if you're playing Warrior,
Yeah,
how do
that's
you
true.
guarantee that? You almost certainly want to play Grom. You almost certainly want to play Alex. You almost certainly want to play Sylvanas.
Oh yeah, for legendaries. Yeah.
So
So if
legendaries only can have 1 copy in.
yeah. So if you put only one of individual cards, like one each of
Yeah. So I
neutrals.
think. Yeah, I think this might have jeopardized the chances, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, right now we're also aware of what what Savjz did. So, oh wow, interesting. Dog's going for this kind of strategy where he's kind of packaging all of his stuff together.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Savjz and Dog are gonna have a lot of duplicates. Either that, or they're gonna have a lot of bad decks.
We'll see. I mean, nothing's decided for sure, but I think overall, the fact that it seems like Eloise and Firebat are kind of on the same wavelength of strategy is definitely a good thing. Firebat's, of course, doing a little fist pump.
Yeah, he's watching. He's saying,
You guys didn't talk about it, right? You guys just thought about it? Wow. Yeah,
They figured it out.
they figured it out on their own independently.
Figured out the optimal strategy.
Well done.
Must be the sweatpants.
It must be the sweatpants.
They're both wearing sweatpants. It's not a coincidence, people.
Got that connection. All right, so, you know, it's always tricky with this kind of stuff too, because I'm really glad that both these guys decided to go for control war, because if one went for like Cthulhu or something like that, it would have been pretty bad.
Yeah. I think they realized that if they went for Cthulhu, then it would be bad. Because if they both put Cthulhu in, they had to replace Cthulhu, then their whole strategy would be terrible.
Yeah.
And now this is crazy. They have like some sort of weird telepathy.
What the heck, man? This is actually
I'm pretty sure their deck is gonna just be 3 good decks.
that's not fun.
Yeah, that's not fun. That's not fun or interactive. This is just gonna be a best of 5 conquest.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, right now we're gonna find out what cards overlap, if any, but most likely not on Firebat and Eloise's side. But I anticipate there being a handful from Savjz and Dog.
Well, neither of their decks need legendaries. Maybe Blood Mage and Shaman, but I don't think either of the players put Blood Mage in. So they might not have any duplicates.
Yeah, I guess Druid's tricky. Not really anything that you want to... Like, there's not much possible overlap, but things like Fandral could also overlap.
Yeah.
Ragnaros being one of them. I think Dog's trying to just account for, like, what's the most important cards I have to put in, and then what are the cards that are really important that I don't want to risk.
Ooh, he
Put
took
the
out
scenarios.
Ragnaros.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's banking on the fact that Savjz put Ragnaros in the Druid deck.
But if we can remember back, Savjz put Innervate, he put Living Roots, he put Raven Idol, put Wild Growth, put Mire Keeper, put Nourish.
What does Druid kind of go down with? We have Keeper of the Grove,
So they're
Ancient of Lore.
yeah, it goes in
Big
order.
Game Hunter. It goes in order.
So their first duplicate card will be Ancient of Lore, second will be Keeper of the Grove, third will be Force of Nature, fourth will be Big Game Hunter. I mean, these cards aren't terrible. There's definitely not optimal. And they may or may not fit their overall strategy that they're going for, so
Yeah,
that's the downside of it. If they get all the way to the bottom,
yeah.
so if they have 15 duplicate cards, then they get Bite.
If every single card was duplicated.
If they both put 15 or no, it would be possible to get all duplicates because they'd both have to put 8.
Yeah, I'm saying, assuming they copied each other, like,
Yeah.
if duplicates of stuff, then it would go all the way down to 15, but I don't think that's going to happen here. I actually don't think it's even that bad, you know? Hunter, for example, plays River, Crocus, and Work Infiltrator. That's not the worst thing in the world. You just want to play minions on curve.
Yeah.
Rogue having to play Blade Flurry, though, and Mash of Disguise, that'd be pretty bad.
Warlock, Fearsome Doomguard. It's the 6/8, I think, for 7.
Yeah, that card wasn't too bad when you had Void Caller.
Abusive Sergeant, that's second. That's a card that's probably in their deck anyway.
Which one?
Warlock.
Oh, yeah. Dreadsteed.
Dreadsteed. Well, Dog has emerged. And him and Savjz.
Yeah, and they're talking it over, and I think they're starting to realize a
Guys,
little bit of hole in their strategy.
We've made a huge mistake. Firebat's just sitting there waiting for Eloise to finish up here, but, I mean, their strategy looks rock solid.
All right, I'd like to call a timer soon from the judge. Gonna get this challenge underway. All right, well, you can see Andrew, our rep from HTC Esports. Shout out to them, by the way, for help producing the event. They are putting the deck list together right now. So trying to compare screenshots, seeing if there's any overlap. So now it's time to see if there is. So we have an Innervate overlap, a Raven Idol overlap, Wild Growth overlap, Wrath overlap.
Nourish.
Mire Keeper, no. Swipe overlap, and Nourish.
Wow. So that is 8.
Ooh. That is 8 cards overlap. So we
Wait,
go...
no, it's only 7, because they can only have one of. They have one of, what, Mire Keeper?
Right.
So 7 overlaps.
So 7 cards are Ancient of Lore, Keeper of the Grove, Force of Nature,
Big Game Hunter, Ancient Watcher,
Ancient Watcher,
Defender of Argus, and Sun Fury Protector. Those aren't too bad.
That's pretty bad. I think when you're stuck with Ancient Watcher and you don't draw any activators.
Yeah.
I guess because you have Keeper of the Grove. We're trying to pair them together one at a time. But I definitely don't think, like, assuming you had to put 2 of those, I don't think that's necessarily a bad list from Savjz. It's all about, like, adaptation there. Meanwhile, there's nothing really going on for, like, Eloise and Firebat. Eloise is getting so much time to build her decks. I think we need to call time on this.
Okay.
All right, well, their strategy is pretty good.
Do we also have a point count, point check in terms of who's winning and who's in the lead? You, Dog, Savjz, Eloise.
Do I get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good. We have 1 duplicate. We both put Harrison Jones and Shaman. But other than that, everything else.
I was thinking.
I put all the one ofs that you.
So Firebat's at 6,100.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to do all the one, but I was thinking if you go.
Savjz at 5,750, Dog at 5,700. Wow, 50-point difference.
Yeah.
make it.
And-
Oh, so
Eloise
that
is at
40-50. So
Yeah.
Eloise is quite a bit behind, so she
Yeah.
needs this event. But
She's
also,
2,000 points behind.
Firebat's in the lead. So at the same time that Eloise will be catching up, if they win, she'll also be putting Firebat even further in the lead.
Yeah, but she can just
If
get
they
like
win.
not last.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Actually,
That's fine.
Eloise is almost guaranteed last, I think.
Well, there's still one more event after this. She's still guaranteed to be in last place after
She has
this
to
event.
win this event and beat Firebat and Savjz, and she gets 3rd place. Because Firebat, or I apologize, yeah, she's with Savjz. So she has to beat Dog and Firebat in order to not get last. Otherwise, she gets 4th. Because first team gets 2,000, second team gets 1,000.
Yeah.
Are you doing this?
Well, that means basically she has to win this one
Yeah, that's
if
a
she
must
even
win.
wants a chance. And the next one.
And the next one.
Aya, stop talking
And she
about
probably has to find points from somewhere else.
it.
Black
Aya,
market
stop
points.
talking about me. Stop
Firebat, if he wins this, is he guaranteed?
If he wins this, he's at 8,100 points.
I think he's guaranteed first if he wins this.
But they forgot about the last Sabotage, which might take away points.
Oh, you're right. The last Sabotage might take away some points.
Who knows?
We can't reveal it, though.
We can't reveal it, but you don't get too comfy yet, Firebat. I know those sweatpants look comfy. They're not quite bat pants. Yeah, we're just waiting for both of our admins/partners. There's Kevin Monk Dong on the screen for any of you long-term Hearthstone fans
Oh,
back in ESGN Fight Night.
oh, that's good. I almost.
Still holds the title of slowest player in existence. Back when there was no turn timer.
Yeah, Monk was life coach before life coach was life coach.
Indeed, he was. Let's hope he can build other players' decks faster than he can play his turns.
All right, so we see the Druid list. It's got definitely some unfortunate stuff in it. Oh, they're trying to find the Ancient of Lore? Ancient of Lore is a standard card. You can definitely just put it in. What card is he searching for?
Ooh, I'm not sure. All these cards are in standard, as far as I know. Ancient of Lore, Keeper of the Grove, Force of Nature, Big Game Hunter, Ancient Watcher,
I think
Defender
you're
of
trying to
Armies.
put Ancient of Lore in there. Right now he has Show Golden only cards. Someone needs to tell him to disable that. Oh, he's just
Oh, he's disenchanting.
Oh, wow, rude.
Whose account is that?
Is that my account? No, it's not. We don't account share.
Change bottom? Like, do we get for the bonus? Do we get to change one in each deck?
Trapped between a rock and a hard place here.
Yeah, that was
Maybe it's
awkward.
like- there's two cards.
There it is.
There it is. There it is. All right. Yeah. So essentially, we're just trying to build the decks. You know, we also could go to a break screen, but we want to keep you guys kind of paled on seeing what's going on here. The paladin lists, or the warrior lists, excuse me, would have to replace with the first card is Dread Corsair, second is Grim Patron, third is Whirlwind, and then Cruel Taskmaster. So those are some of the cards that they would replace, if any. We see Shield Slam. Oh, they have to replace both of those.
Oh, no.
No Executes. One Fiery War Axe, one Acolyte of Pain, one Ravaging Ghoul, one Shield Block, one Brawl, and... Nope, just got True Heart safe. So 7 cards again. So that goes Dread Corsair, Grim Patron, Whirlwind, Cruel Taskmaster, Armor Smith, another Battle Rage, and Captain Greenskin. This doesn't seem that bad.
It's not too bad. I was expecting like...
I was expecting bad cards when they told us this, like Purify level stuff.
One on
Well,
draft.
Purify is on there. It's the very last Priest card for Sabotage, but nobody picked Priest.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that big of a Sabotage moment.
One. Shield block.
We'll see. We'll also see if anybody decides to use the buff.
Without much of the important stuff.
Because it is possible they can spend 1,000 gems to replace any of the cards, any of the duplicate cards that were replaced in their deck with any of the other cards from the list.
We are definitely disadvantaged.
We still have 2 events to go. 2 sections to go.
All right, so we got some word that we're going to finish out building the decks and take a small, brief intermission. When we come back, we're going to get this 15-15 underway. So stay tuned, guys. More HTC Mayhem right after this.
One for all, my opinion.
Here, we are doing.
But I don't know how I'm here. The sunlight has turned to gray, and I feel like I'm losing love again. I don't know how I'm here. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. I could feel your heart. Somewhere you looking down, 'cause it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna breathe, and it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna need. And I know now we're getting older. The world we built is slipping through our fingers. We're running out of time. But you are the one I've chosen, and I won't lay still, living left behind, imprisoned by this love. Somewhere you're looking down, I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down, 'cause it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna breathe, and it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna